from the ICR Conference in Orlando, Florida, it's the Hospitality Hangout Podcast with the restaurant guy and the finance guy. Jimbo, lead us off.
I'm going to lead us off. I'm going to welcome you more formally to the Hospitality Hangout, a hospitality podcast where the founders at Branded Hospitality Group share their insights and bring innovation and technology and restaurant leaders that are making things happen in the industry we love. My name is Jimmy Frischling, otherwise known as the finance guy. I'd like to introduce you to my partner, my brother from another mother, Mr. Michael Schatzberg, a.k.a. Schatzy, a.k.a. the restaurant guy.
And thank you for that kind intro, Jimbo. Appreciate that. And I got to tell you, we are super excited to be here live in beautiful Orlando at ICR Conference.
Playing a drinking game. Every time we say the word live, we have to take like
I love saying, I love how it sounds, live. Yes. And I got to tell you, it's just great to be here in Orlando. A little storm coming, but nothing we can't handle. We were fortunate to be staying here at the hotel.
Haven't left.
I remember the first time coming down here to ICR, Jimbo, we had to do the walk of shame. We were down at SeaWorld with Shamu.
Yes.
And after drinking at the bar, we had to go down, all the way down, I think an Uber down to Shamu and see, but we made it. We made it here now.
We've come a long way.
We've come a long way. So now we're actually on the grounds. And I got to tell you,
is the camera's only on us, right?
I don't know. I don't know where the camera is.
In that case, I can't believe, this is standing room only here today at ICR.
Yeah, we
really, folks in the back, we so appreciate you guys rallying for the, I just can't
round of applause for the crowd.
Listen to that crowd. It's unbelievable. Really, stop.
Before we jump into it, I got to do a big shout out to Don, Anton, Tom, Liz, the whole crew at ICR.
How good are they?
They put an incredible event on. They must start putting this on like literally like Thursday they start putting it on for next year. It's unbelievable. So big shout out to them for hosting us. And Jimmy, I got to tell you, we have an incredible guest with us.
We do.
Incredible guest. Great looking guest.
Audience is overwhelmed by it.
Yeah, you want to? Yeah, no, the audience is going crazy. You can't hear it. You can't hear it on the podcast. But they're going crazy.
This is, I don't know how many seasons we've done of this podcast, but I have to tell you.
It's like 150 something episodes.
150 something episodes. And today we are very excited to introduce and welcome to the podcast for the very first time, our new friend, Mr. James Vitrano, CEO of Sucré. And we're going to have a good freaking time. Talk about leaders.
This guy's a rock star. Look at the guy. He looks like a rock star. Look at this guy.
There you go.
Am I right? And by the way, what I just learned?
What'd you just learn?
A Tulane guy, Tulane law. So, he's smart because he went to Tulane. And he's a law guy, so he's smart.
And poor now.
He is poor, but he's a good-looking rock star. And by the way, the guy's a rock star in our business. Fat Tuesdays.
What's the mascot of
the Green Wave?
The Green Wave.
Go Green.
And I got to tell you, football looking good, right? Football looking good. So we had a great guest. Let's kick it off.
I want to kick it off. But before we bring James in, James is now thinking, Anton, Don, why did you book me with these?
Well, Anton told me to give James as much shit as possible.
Okay, well, here we go. Look, before we kick in, look, we've done 150 plus episodes, not our first rodeo. But before we actually dive into the meat of this discussion, we have a segment called Trivia Tuesdays, never to be confused with Taco Tuesdays. But the way you play this game is we're going to ask you, the audience, or rather, I'm going to tell you, the audience, and particularly Shatsy, two truths. I prefer to say an untruth, also known as a lie. Two truths and a lie. And the way we play the game is I'm going to give 3 factoids about our new friend James, except only 2 of them are true. And we're going to ask you to figure out which one.
I'm great.
You're very good at this game, but I have to tell you, this is a tricky one. Because ready? Let's do it. Fact 1. James has 2 kids.
I don't think he's even married.
Hold on. Fact 2.
No, I just met your wife.
James has a crush.
I just met his wife.
James has a crush on Gail Benson. For those of you who don't know, and I really think you should know, Gail is the owner of the Saints and the Pelicans, New Orleans royalty. Fact 3, James once took Captain America to a Miami Marlins game. Fact 1,
I don't know what that means.
James 2 kids. Fact, probably the actor or maybe a stuffy. I don't know. Fact 2, James has a crush on Gail Benson. And fact 3, James took Captain America to a Miami Marlins game.
We have a picture of Gail?
What I will say is,
can I see Gail?
Stick around to the end. I know it's crowded. Stick around to the end, and we will reveal which one is the truth. 2 truths and a lie. Okay, James, finally, we get to bring you in, and most importantly, allow you, sir, to take the mic. He's texting Tom, right? He's texting Don right now saying, go.
I think we're trying to get a picture of Gail.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, that's true.
All right, James, let us bring you in. Take the lead. Please give us a background, a little intro on yourself, and of course, some information on Sucré.
Guys, I'm honored to be here. Thanks so much for taking the time.
That's a lie. That's a lie. We got two truths.
We got two truths. We got two lies.
Okay.
You just fleshed out lie one. There we go.
We've known each other for 12 minutes, so I reserve the right to come back on this one.
Okay.
And I think I want to thank Anton and Liz and Jess for letting me.
Probably not.
Yeah, I'm going to back off of that. So yeah, guys, I'm the CEO of Sucré. We bought Sucré in April. Sucré is the original New Orleans patisserie, started in 2007. Joel Dondis is the founder. He is an offshoot colleague of, and really a visionary, brought the macaron and the patisserie to the South. They ran into some problems in 2019. Friend bought it out of bankruptcy and didn't really know what to do with it. So we bought it, really love it. We'll scale it. We bought 2 units and a commissary. Think Lauderay, but better. So we're coming for you, Lauderay. Just
Nice.
Ready? Yeah. We are 3 units now, open the 4th tomorrow, 5th next month, all in New Orleans. We'll move to Atlanta, Q2, Houston, Q3, Scottsdale, Q4. And it's just it's a high-end, beautiful place with wonderful French desserts.
I love it.
Exquisite. You got king cakes going now because happy carnival to you fellas.
Oh, happy Fat Tuesday, man. It's great. I got to tell you, before we get into it, because we had a lot to get into, there's a lot of background with you, a lot of history. We got Sucré. You open up hundreds of stores. You just said you got 1,400 stores already. It's unbelievable. Opening your 1,500 store tomorrow.
Stores left and
that.
right.
Let's go back. Let's take you back. It's the year 2000. You're in Louisiana State, right? Louisiana Tech.
Oh, yeah.
Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
And you're thinking politics. I want to be a politician. Or maybe I want to be a lawyer. I don't know. I don't know exactly what I want to do. And maybe you want to be a lobbyist. Maybe you want to be a lobbyist.
Where'd you get this?
I don't know. I'm just going.
Deep.
Just go with it, okay? But then somewhere, you're like, no, I'm not going to be a lawyer. Jimmy's like looking at me. What are you talking about? Because I want to be a banker. I want to be a banker. I want to be a lobbyist. I want to be politics, maybe president, maybe the mayor, something.
This is Shatsy's Fraser Crane moment. He's
But somewhere along the way, you went and you're like, no, bagels. Bagels is my jam. I love bagels.
Just left some bagels.
And and the Einstein Noah Restaurant Group.
Yes.
And then it's like, no, it's not bagels. It's Ruby Tuesdays. And then no, it's daiquiris. It's daiquiris. And then it's Fat Tuesdays.
Yeah.
So you go from you want to be the governor of Louisiana to becoming a restaurant operator. And now you're like the rock star. And now it's Sucré. How did you get here? Tell us. Louisiana to law school? How did it all?
James, we're listening.
Oh, brothers, I appreciate it. Yeah. So
$50 an hour.
You got it. That's an affordable rate these days, right?
100%.
So
I take insurance.
My parents were public school teachers. And the first thing they told me is I got to figure out a way to make money. And the only person I knew that had any money was a lawyer. He had a sports car and a beach house. And I thought, that guy.
Jimmy's half lawyer on his dad's side.
There you go. That's one.
And by half,
Is there a lawyer in the house?
None.
I saw Andy Pesco. He's a lawyer.
Right.
Oh, he left already. He's like, this thing is starting. I'm out of here.
So then,
there he is. Okay, sorry.
Front row. I mean,
It's very
packed.
packed.
It's packed.
You got to understand.
You got a great seat.
It's really hard to see.
He reserved that one earlier. He knows some
He
guys.
knows people that I see.
Knows some guys. I need that front seat.
See, yeah.
So a private practice for a while, ironically jumped into the general counsel job of a marine company, knowing nothing about maritime, and got a call from a recruiter to learn the publicly traded route. And Einstein Noah Restaurant Group at the time was just blowing up. A wonderful woman by the name of Rhonda Parrish was my mentor, one of the first lawyers at Walmart, worked with Sam Walton. So I had the opportunity to work with a great team, Jeff O'Neill, who passed a few years ago, a wonderful CEO. And we had, Manny Hilario was our CFO, who's with one group. So Susan Litton-Smith was our CMO.
Great steak last night.
Yeah, a great job by Manny. Huh? He does a lot of things, right? Back in the day, I saw him DJ once too. So that's a thing. Yeah, he's very talented. So great team there. Really worked with Mike Ellis, who's over at Portillo's as the CDO. We took about 600 units to 900 units and built non-traditional, traditional franchising. That's where I learned franchising. And entrepreneurship, franchising is that gift to capitalism that people who don't have a lot of money can really make their own and be their own boss. So I fell in love with capitalism through the franchising route then. And we really did a great job there. That team sold it to JAB and hopped over to Ruby Tuesday as part of a turnaround with JJ, who had popped over from Darden, and we tried to stabilize it, sold it to NRD Capital.
Dropping names like crazy. You hear the names he's dropping?
Great people. Look, the industry is full of great people. Look at them all in here.
I mean, I got to tell you.
They're great.
You said you're doing a podcast. They show up.
I mean, they all
show.
They are just out of control, right?
Unbelievable.
So, I did Ruby for a while, fought the Garden Bar, and we, spent some time on a plane. I was the head of international. So for some reason, Sandy thought, Ruby Tuesday needed to be in Iceland and Romania and Guam. And
I heard that.
Everybody needs a Garden Bar.
Market.
It is Guam. It's big. Yeah, it's big. Guam's huge. And so then jumped over to daiquiris and really had a fun time with the frozen drink. We're all taking that.
I've had plenty of those in New Orleans.
We appreciate you doing that. Yeah, the company invented it and was able to sell that to the owner. The owner-founder, 70-something years old, really realized the dream. He asked me to sell it, and Alex and Matt at Garnet Station bought it, and now we're doing macarons, and I'm sitting with you boys. I mean,
We
going downhill.
We focus on the early stage space, and while we have a history and still own a bunch of full service restaurants in New York City, we've fallen in love with the early stage market, particularly emerging tech, innovation, and brands. For us, it's a privilege, and we feel so fortunate to get to work with companies at their youthful stage. There might be 40,000 McDonald's, or there are about 40,000 McDonald's, but it started with one.
Amen.
You can rent that on Netflix to see the story there. But
Michael Keaton?
yes, excellent. But when we've been in this industry now for about 30 years, and I think it's one of the most fragmented industries. It's also one of the most democratized, and we have more to do in that space.
Yeah.
And it's also been one that's fairly antiquated and analog. And we're going through a digital almost transformation. As an emerging brand now, and you've given us an early roadmap, Shatsy's numbers aside, and by aside I mean wrong, but you gave us the numbers.
If there's any private equity guys in, that's right. That's
how do you
I know our audience.
How do you, as a truly emerging brand, how do you leverage tech?
Right.
There's limitations of what you can do, but there's also, there's a need to engage with your guests. But what is your guys' tech roadmap, or what are you guys thinking about? You're about the food, you're about the people, you're about the experience. And what is your kind of thoughts around tech and how you're going to leverage it for the benefit of your company?
It's so interesting, right? Like talking with Seth and Fred LeBlanc the other day, right? I heard a word that didn't exist when I was at Einstein's, right? Tech stack. Nobody said tech stack.
Yep.
Right? Like, I don't really know what a tech stack is.
If I have another kid,
I'll explain
tech stack.
I'll explain tech stack to you later.
I think somebody needs to be nicknamed tech stack. Like tech stack's where it's at, right? Yeah, that's right. But I think nowadays you have to have it. From our perspective, it's a need to have and a nice to have, but we're an emerging growth brand. So you got to kind of pick and choose where that's at. On our side, we're diving into Google Analytics right now, right? That meeting the customer where the customer exists from our standpoint, it's not in the store. There will be no tech in our stores, right? We want you to step back. It's sort of a Nancy Myers experience, right? We want you and your partner or your spouse to come in, or your friend, and have a nice time sort of away from the world, right? So there'll be no tech in the operational aspect at the store level, but we own our own commissary. We make our own stuff. So where I'd really like to see tech go, aside from the use of it from the marketing side, right?
Sure.
And the AI side and the customer interaction, right? Which is obvious. From my standpoint, as the guy who, I don't make it, our chef makes it, our team makes it, but I'd love to see the manufacturers of this equipment lean into tech, right? So everything we do is refrigerated, right? I mean, just the simple aspect of having an app where I'm able to, I have to buy an extra device to be able to monitor my temperature, right? So if the manufacturers of these equipment and in the production of it would start leaning into tech on that end, that would really help us.
This segment of the podcast is sponsored by our friends at Middleby.
Middleby.
Speak to James, please. Let's go. By the way, they are truly one of the leaders. And I will tell you from an investment standpoint, while I think the last couple of years we've seen almost an explosion of software, I will tell you that what we're hearing more and more about from operators and some of the largest, including now some of the emerging brands, is the criticality around the connected kitchen, the IoT equipment. And I actually think we're going to see a meaningful CapEx spend. And I'm joking, but Middleby to us they are the gold standard in the kitchen equipment. And there's some other very good firms, but they're absolutely thinking about, because they're talking to the customer, their customer, folks like yourself, and they're hearing the criticality, the importance around this. So I think that's a great bit. And I think that's a key area for you and so many other operators.
I think it's a huge growth opportunity too, right? If I were smarter and got into finance or private equity, that's where I would look as well.
Yeah, it's you talk about the nice to have and the need to have. And I think that's really important when you talk about tech, because there's those nice to haves, but it's the need to have. And if you don't get the team to embrace the tech, it's just you get it and you pay for it, and then nobody even uses it.
Well, the implementation execution of it is,
and it starts at the top.
You have to believe in it and enforce it, for sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, because there is something to me, and I can't wait to watch your growth and trajectory, but there's the NOLA kind of brand and what's unique. And I think NOLA is I think it's a city in the country that people kind of smile when they think about it. Obviously, there's a wonderful community and a great food scene. And then you're talking about this kind of European, I'll use the word luxury, but the fact is you're taking a truly loved city and now this European luxury, And is that the marriage kind of between the two that you're going to take forward?
As my newest board member, you actually see it right there. Yeah, I mean, look, he's in.
See,
he's in.
What I did there?
The finance guy.
I love this. I love this. I love it. You worked that in there.
The investment's not that significant.
The French know a little something about food.
I mean,
the French.
But it seems to be it's a combination that makes, I think, people kind of lean into it. But it's your company. You're doing it.
We appreciate that. And that's exactly where we'd like to be, right? That fusion, which is really what New Orleans is, right? It's that amalgamation of culture and heritage. And
biggest little city.
It is very much so. And we're all pretty much connected, So we do want to export that, right?
Yeah.
We want to export that with class, right? On a level, to your point, luxury. I was with Fat Tuesday, New Orleans Original Daiquiris, right? You got to be careful when the name's Fat Tuesday, how you push, you get chinky on it really quick.
And is that politically correct?
Yeah, I mean, nowadays you can't call it a Slim Tuesday, but it's a
Skinny Tuesday.
We just call it Mardi Gras and nobody knows the difference, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're exactly on it. And so that fine line, and I firmly believe that New Orleans, I'd encourage people in the private equity and banking, there's an investment opportunity down in the city of New Orleans to export that culinary, cultural expertise that I think the world can benefit from.
Oh, without a doubt.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you mentioned that you learned franchising and you took Noah's Bagels from, I think it was 7 stores to 18,000 stores
2 million,
in a matter of 2 years or something like that. It was the largest chain in the world,
right?
Which is unbelievable. Right. Everyone is really excited about that. But I mean, what are you doing? What are the plans with Sucré? I mean, you have 3 stores and you're opening up more stores. Are you going to go franchise model, or you haven't thought about that yet? And what is I mean, a lot of people always talk about growth and they immediately say franchise. I'm going to franchise. I mean, we tried on the restaurant side, we tried franchising and it just didn't work for us. It's a different business. Yeah. It's a different animal. If you love restaurants and hospitality, it doesn't necessarily mean franchising is the right move for you, because it's almost like you become really logistics and operations, and so it's a very different business, I think.
Completely.
So what are you guys going to do, right?
Other than our significant injection of capital right there, we're going to open another 1,000 off of this investment. Yeah, I mean, look, $250,000 to open our stores. So we're in.
We'll just go left the Amex. I want the points.
You got it. I love the Amex.
Yeah.
So,
if there's one constant in the restaurant industry, it's change. Whether you're a growing brand trying to build cutting-edge experiences for your guests, or a national leader with thousands and thousands of stores looking to update your tech stack, well, Toast brings together proven technology, expertise, and innovations you need to drive change and spark growth. That's right, drive change and spark growth. From front of house to back of the house and everything in between, corporate teams, franchisees, enterprise brands, mom pops, SMBs, you name it, everyone is loving Toast. With over 100,000 operators using Toast, you know it's the best POS out there. And many more trust Toast to help them stay ahead of the curve and thrive in this changing restaurant world that we love. To learn more about Toast, go to toasttab.com. That's toasttab.com. And I got to tell you, you're going to love it. Mention Shatsy, and I think they're going to give you some crazy discount.
To answer your question, it's a bit of a soapbox issue for me, right? As a lawyer who learned the restaurant business through franchising and corporate, I think franchising's got a little skewed, right? You look at these people who put their own money into it, right? Like nowadays, there's all this push for you to leverage your 401k or your IRA to lend against that for your funding. I think you got to be really careful when you are a franchisee or franchising, because in this day and age of turnover at the corporate level, and if you walk around here, you see a whole bunch of people who used to be a whole bunch of different places. If you're my franchisee and I say, this is the way we're going to go, and then 6 to 9, 18 months later, group comes in and you're out, and now we're going this way. Yeah. You're riding that wave, right? And very few brands can maintain that wave. So from our standpoint, we want to grow corporately primarily. Mm-hmm. We will roll out our FDD in February. Mm-hmm. Ironically, my wife is our first test franchisee. We opened 1 location, so she's on one side of it and I'm on the other, so we can see both sides of that.
Right.
Because it's important. We want to selectively franchise in selective markets who appreciate that luxury brand, that embrace the brand. But, I'm really concerned about the state of franchising as it pertains to how corporate America from a restaurant industry really focuses on the transition of where brands are going and the impact on the individual.
So right now you focus on corporate.
Totally corporate right now. But franchising comes out in February. You guys are going to 50, right? 50 units?
Yes. Give me New York
Miami,
right now.
done.
I want the territory. Just send me the paperwork.
Well, I'm done. We'll disclose you tomorrow. We'll disclose you tomorrow.
Like so many things, I don't think franchising is magic. I don't think it's poison. It's really about what's the brand, how the brands are embracing franchisees, how they're operating. I mean, we've seen incredibly successful models and we've seen fails. And so I agree with you. And I think the idea of going corporate first and really establishing yourself, and then there'll be the opportunity, I think, to work with, if you choose to, ideally some of the best franchisees around. And there's some tremendous ones.
They are.
And then there's folks that maybe less so. Despite how much Shatsy and I banter, we actually created a segment called Talking Back. Jillian, Shatsy's wife, named the segment. She likes to talk back. Sorry, Jill. So we're going to ask you, we're going to give you the microphone. Not that I have to give it to you, you have your own. But we're going to let you ask us a question or two.
Yeah.
I like to say nothing's off the table.
Right.
We're unfiltered, hopefully always direct and professional, respectful folks. But my friend James, the microphone is yours.
Keep in mind though the timer there, Jimbo.
Oh no, I think we should extend.
Maybe one question.
I'd like to. So first, let's go personal.
Yes.
Right. You two together. How long and how? Like really, what's the I read all the stuff, but how? Like really, how did y'all meet?
I mean, I know Jimmy, if you haven't noticed. I know Jimmy now 30 some odd years. 30 something years.
We're approaching
like how?
So I went to in 8th grade, I met a best friend, and this gentleman who's our partner now, but my friend Dean.
It was so sad for Jimmy. He didn't have a friend in 8th grade.
I didn't have a friend in 8th grade.
I'm sorry. I said my best friend. I met a friend.
You're
an 8th grade. And then Dean went on to college and met Shatsy. Yeah. And by the community of property, we both liked Dean. And we decided he and I should get along. I mean, the fact is we never even liked each other, but we've played nice for Dean. So Dean and I went to high school together. Shats and Dean went to college together. We got friendly back in the late 80s and early 90s. I met Dean earlier than that. And then Shatsy got involved with one of Dean's. Dean comes from some hospitality royalty. His grandfather was the owner of the Sands Hotel out in Vegas, in the Vegas Hall of Fame. He's a real estate person, runs a family office, old school real estate group, but a love of hospitality. Started opening restaurants with Shatsy. I cut my teeth in the industry, but moved away from it. And I was one of their earliest investors. So the three of us, I was the finance guy with no operational responsibilities, and it should stay that way. It will stay that way.
Love that.
Shatsy was the general partner.
Jimmy ate and drank every night at the restaurant.
Yes. But Shatsy's I eat and drink for free. It ain't free. I pay for free. It's like riding the bus. I pay and I ride. Like I gave the money. Of course I get to eat and drink. But then so Dean's the real estate guy. I'm the finance guy. And Shatsy was the restaurant guy. We just don't bring Dean on the podcast because
Dean.
He's a little shy.
Yeah, Dean. We got to be careful, Dean.
Yeah, no, so we've been together for a long time, as you know. All right.
Second question. Second question. No, it's you guys. There's nothing important here. Second question.
Yes, sir. Time here.
I got one more follow-up.
Come out.
What's right with the industry?
What's right? Oh, great question.
What's right with it?
That you wanted?
I mean, what's right about the industry for me is just there's no other industry like it. There's, in my opinion, I mean, being in it for 30 years, there's a very low asshole factor in hospitality.
FCC violation.
No. Podcasters, they don't go by those. You can drop.
My guy, why didn't you tell me this?
You can do
the audience can't.
Now my daughter can't watch.
But I think it's a very low asshole factor. I think anytime, in my opinion, that, when I work in the restaurants and in our community, our neighborhood, other restaurants, we are always pulling for each other, which is not always in every other industry. If I'm out of beer, I go to my neighbor, another borrow a case of beer, napkins, whatever you need. Everyone is always looking. We've always believed that if one guy in the neighborhood's doing well, the other guy's going to do well, So I just love the community of it. Yeah, and everyone just seems to be generally happy. I mean, it's a tough business, granted, but I think all business is tough. But I just love the making people happy. When you change the menu or come up with something new and you see people talking about it, or you hear about it, or you read a review about something you created.
Isn't that an amazing connection when the customer comes in and they're like blown away, or you get to interact?
And it was like your idea or someone in your team's idea, and you're like, wow, it resonates with people. I knew they would like it.
I'll add one thing, because that gets me about timing. You said the good thing, and what do we love about the industry? We did a podcast at a different event. We had, I think, 6. We did kind of a quick, speed podcast. All 6. The 6 CEOs of major brands, all 6 had started as a front of house person.
Mostly dishwashers for busboys,
I think 5 of them had been dishwashers before they got to front of house. And when we talked in the beginning about the democratization, and we have more to do, but I have to say that the idea that somebody started as a dishwasher or a server and is now a CEO of some of the household names, I think that's pretty special. And what a wonderful thing about this industry. And now I left it because I didn't see the career path for myself, but now I see it for so many people.
Yes.
And I think it is the people, and it's just a high touch. Our guests, our manufacturing facility, our retail facility, also as the kitchen and the dining room are separated by a wall and now not even a wall.
Yeah.
And what other industry has that kind of relationship? And then the guests who's with us right then, experiencing what you've created for them.
I love it. That's phenomenal. All right, follow up. What's missing or wrong? What's missing or needs to be fixed?
Oh, I'll tell you from my perspective, because I'm the finance person, I'm all obsessed with the investment side of this. We launched our platform because I had never seen an emerging market or alternative asset class where so many people are familiar with it. Sorry, they believe they believe they know this industry. It's a false sense of familiarity.
Yeah, exactly.
They believe they know it because they know how to be a guest. And that workflow is so actually complex. And yet in other industries, they would never opine on research or engineering, but in this industry, everyone has
an expert.
Which, by the way, I'm not complaining.
No one talks about electric cars and be like, they know.
Right, let me tell you how to do this.
We don't even look, to be fair, they don't call them clients or customers. We call them guests. We want that relationship. But I think one of the things that's wrong is the guests have an expectation that's almost unmeetable. And again, it's the nature of the beast. Their expectations are the moment they walk in, every step of the way. So that's hard to achieve.
And now with the immediacy of feedback on, I'm up till 2 and 3 a.m. responding to Google reviews, right? So you can get that right in your face.
But I think everybody knows how to make a reservation. Everyone's been to a hotel, they've been to a restaurant, they've eaten out. Most people have probably made eggs, they've probably flipped up a couple of burgers on their grill or made a steak, and they just believe they understand the business in and out. I mean, I have people all the time come up to me like, you know what you got to do? You know what you don't know anything about this business outside the of eating here. Like,
here's my view. We don't have a draft anymore, and I hope we never do. I think everyone in this country should spend at least 6 months working in a retail/consumer facing, and maybe even
working in a restaurant.
Because if they did,
totally agree.
Tell you, we would create a
nicer society in general.
It'd be a better experience for everyone involved.
I agree.
It's incredible training. Incredible
forced to work in restaurants.
And it's a true face-to-face with humanity, right? On the good side and the bad side.
Yeah, and sometimes people, like the customers, treat sometimes the workers, the employees, the people so poorly.
I agree.
And they
it's
just
heartbreaking.
don't know what's going on.
And that's why we're losing so many people.
Yeah.
I mean, respectfully, you can work in an Amazon warehouse, go Amazon, and not deal with a hot stove or not deal with an angry customer. You can drive an Uber or Lyft.
It's as simple as just being nice at the end of the day, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so listen.
I got to jump into the spice. The Price is Right, Jim, but we got to jump into the Spice is Right because this segment no, absolutely not. Okay. This is unbelievable. It's the Price is Right. It's our riff on the Price is Right, so we don't get sued. We go Spice is Right, okay? I am going to get your buzzers ready, okay? So a little Price is Right, okay? It's a showcase showdown right now, and I'm going to ask you, gentlemen, the price, okay? And we're in Orlando, so we're going to go a little Disney Price is Right.
Disney,
okay? And in Disney World, let's see how well you guys. I know you haven't been to Disney World yet.
Ever.
Disney World at all?
That leads into don't be trying for questions and answers.
Okay.
Easy.
All right, they got the Chef Mickey's Character Breakfast Buffet at Disney's Contemporary Resort.
Buffet.
It's a buffet. I have been there. It is a fabulous experience. I implore everyone to make sure you take your kids to go over there. Without going, I'm imploring that. Okay. Without going over, can you tell me the closest price to the kids' breakfast buffet, which includes, are you ready? All-you-can-eat breakfast buffet offerings, unlimited kids' mocktails, and of course, Mickey Mouse and friends parading around the room. You got Mickey, you got Goofy, you got all parading around. Your kids are going crazy. It's for ages 3 to 9, okay? How much is Disney charging for this buffet for 3 to 9-year-olds?
Okay. Going against the finance guy.
Take a guess. Without going over. Price is Right rules.
Yeah, it is.
And you can bring the entire showcase if you get really close.
Do I get a hat or something?
Definitely get a hat. Hats, everything. Take a guess. What do you think?
I'm going $45.
$45.
By the way, that's not high. That I really am out of the loop on.
I don't know. I mean,
I can't go over. I'm going I'm going $12.99.
This guy.
This is Disney World, Jimbo.
You're that person who does $1.
That's my
You have any idea what goes on in Disney World?
Nobody liked the person.
That's my number. Clearly,
Nobody liked the person that bid $1.
Clearly.
For $12.99 at Disney World.
Did anybody like that person that bid $1?
All right, well, listen.
You're the bidder.
You went over. You win. It's $34.
You know what? I violated the rules. You were so much closer.
Disney, I'm available because I'd love a W-2 now that I own it. Let's take price. We're taking price.
I think you were so much closer. I defer.
Let's go to Trivia Tuesday, Jimbo. Right. We get right to the trivia.
Yes, we talked about the 3 factoids, and 2 are true. 1 is less than true.
This is tricky. This is tough.
Okay, fact 1, this we remember, James has 2 kids. Fact 2, James has a crush on Gail Benson, owner of the Saints and the Pelicans. Gail, call me. We got a lot of tech to help your stadium's operations. Call me.
I'm calling you.
Call me. And great brands. And James took Captain America to my Miami Marlins game. Shatsy, do you care to guess?
Yeah, I'm going to take a guess. I know. I just, when he looked up Gail, he didn't seem excited. He didn't seem excited about that. So I think that, I don't know exactly what he means by he took Captain America to a Marlins game. Yes. I mean, is this like just somebody dressed up as Captain America?
Are you allowed to ask questions?
Yeah,
no.
There's no Q&A here.
I'm going to say that James does not have a crush on Gail Benson. He's got 2 kids. He took Captain America to a Miami Marlins game. And that's my guess.
I'm going, he does not have 2 kids. I'm going with yes to Gail, yes to Captain America. I'm going not 2 kids. Sorry, there are too many hands.
Yeah, sorry, we can't take.
Oh my goodness, there's too many people to call on here.
All right, James, what do you got?
I love my wife, but I love Gail Benson. She's a huge fan of the brand. I got to hug her once, and I held a little longer. I love Gail. Now, I need Miss Benson.
I said when I saw the picture, I said,
I'm not going to let it on to you.
You're already out. Now the question is whether I got the second one right.
Miss Benson, can we do something about the team?
Yes.
We have 6 kids.
You ever taken Captain America to Marlins?
So,
because you don't have 2, you have 6.
Anthony,
you don't have 2, you have 6.
Anthony Mack.
If they price it right, you could go over
the names of all 6.
My kids. Yeah. It's the birthdays that get me. It's the birthday.
So I get the month.
Dude, yeah. Well, it makes me nervous, right?
That's too close.
Years, like I have to do math.
All right, you have 6. We have 6. Not 2. Now tell us about Captain America.
Anthony Mackie, who's the actor that plays Captain America, and I have been relatively decent friends. I had the chance to take him to a Miami Marlins game, and it was a wonderful experience. You watch stars walk around, people go crazy. I was just a guy.
So everything was true.
No.
2 kids.
Yes to Gail. Yes to
I'm
Captain
a lawyer.
America.
He has 2 kids.
No, I have 6 kids.
6 kids.
Well, you can't get rid of 4.
3, 4, 5, 6. You can't have 6 without 2.
I only have.
Right?
Yeah,
by the way,
I win on this one because the price is right.
The
price is right. Definitely. Yeah. Well, I mean, Jimmy, $12.99. Wait till you take Sylvie to. I mean, don't you ever hear people get like take second mortgage on their house to go to Disney World?
I figured they'd charge me $100 for the all-you-can-eat buffet, and they would charge my 7-year-old, 7-year-old. They'd charge like, hey, it's $15 a month.
Right,
and you get the characters too.
Branded Quickfire. Okay, this is arguably one of the greatest segments in all podcast history.
This is my first podcast. I'm so excited.
Let's do. We tell Joe Rogan what do you think of his podcast? Because we've got the best segment here.
Well, it's the highest rated segment according to Nielsen.
Yes.
Is most people.
Joe, you're so jealous.
He's behind to our podcast every month.
Let's go.
And the feedback I get is that they love the branded Quickfire. Yes. So I'm going to ask you 5 lightning round questions. Don't think too hard. Think whatever comes to your mind. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Disney or Universal?
Oh, God. Me, Disney. Kids, Universal.
True or false?
Yeah.
The original name of the Orlando Magic NBA team was supposed to be the Orlando Juice.
False.
That is true. Wow. A contest was held in 1987 to pick the name of the team. The finalists were the Heat, the Tropics, the Juice, and the Magic.
Wow. The OJ thing did that wrong.
Dropping knowledge. Hey, this is unbelievable. Favorite Orlando-born singer? Is it Mr. Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, or Christina Aguilera?
Well, Britney's from Louisiana, so...
Yeah. Well, according to our producer, she spent some time in Orlando.
She did. They were all on the Mickey Kids thing.
So here's what
Britney's from like La Ranch
favorite Disney World Disney person that was on the Disney show.
JT.
Yeah.
JT, Christina.
Yeah, that's better.
Christina, or you're making me pick between JT, Brittany, and Christina?
Yeah, this is big.
I got to go with Brittany. I mean, I'm a New Orleanian, so
Brittany's
got a lot.
all right, man.
Yeah, I mean, I see that there's a lot. Yeah, I mean, I watch it. Wife knows I watch it. I watch it.
Yeah, no, I love it. Favorite television show that's set in Orlando? I hope we get this right.
Okay.
Was it Coach, Fresh Off the Boat, or Double Dare?
I'm going Coach.
Yeah, I don't think I know what Double Dare is.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Is that
never heard of it.
Never heard.
It's that like a kids show where you challenge somebody. It's back in the day. Yeah, they jump something on you. Yeah, but Coach was solid.
Yeah, Coach was
Wasn't he
okay,
like the Minnesota head coach, like University of Minnesota or something like that?
So was he not from Orlando?
It's filmed in
Orlando.
the stage.
Yeah, I don't
The
know.
producer's tricky.
I don't know what's going on here.
Is that Julie?
All right. Yeah, Julie's. Yeah, no, she's.
Here's the money. Here's the money question.
All right. If you were to ride Space Mountain with Jimmy or I,
Yes.
okay, who do you think is the first to start screaming like a girl?
Whoa.
Screaming, just screaming.
Which seat are you in?
I'm a girl dad.
Front seat.
Screaming.
When the roller coaster drops, who was the first one to scream?
You.
You didn't even think about it.
You said not to think.
Oh, yeah.
Quick fire. Don't think.
Bro, on that one, you think a little bit.
You get that passion, baby?
That's so tough.
No,
Like, oh, wait, you're screaming.
No, I'm screaming right behind you, though.
All right. Okay.
But here, hands up, hands down.
Great quick fire.
Hands up or hands down?
Oh,
Esco fell asleep over there, by the way. I saw that. He's toasting.
Lawyers. We got to do this right. We got to do this right. We're going to make it happen. James, we want to thank you so much.
Thank you
for joining us on the podcast, sharing insights, dropping knowledge, and we can't wait to see what you do with Sucré and this brand, and we look forward to being part of this journey.
Yeah, I love it.
You guys can approach James right after the episode, but I would tell you, let's give it up for James.
There's more.
And
there's more. There's still more.
No, there's not.
Wait, there's no one coming in. Jimmy, come on.
Okay,
Come on.
The crowd can stay.
You can finish up. You can finish up.
All I was going to say is, for those, because not everyone is in the air, this is going to be released on our podcast. For our listeners, we do want to thank you so much for tuning in. We know that we couldn't have had 150 plus episodes without your continued support and interest in what we're doing.
And we just picked up like 7 more listeners.
Yes. And if you would like, to our listeners, if you'd like to get in touch with James, we no longer give out cell phones. That was a season 1 rookie mistake. But if you contact the podcast team, podcast@brandedstrategic.com, we would be happy.
And we can torture you as a guest.
We would be happy to connect you with James.
And
that was great.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
If there's one constant in the restaurant industry, it's change. Whether you're a growing brand trying to build cutting-edge experiences for your guests or a national leader with thousands and thousands of stores looking to update your tech stack, well, Toast brings together proven technology, expertise, and innovations you need to drive change and spark growth. That's right, drive change and spark growth. From front of house to back of the house and everything in between. Corporate teams, franchisees, enterprise brands, mom pops, SMBs, you name it, everyone is loving Toast. With over 100,000 operators using Toast, you know it's the best POS out there. And many more trust Toast to help them stay ahead of the curve and thrive in this changing restaurant world that we love. To learn more about Toast, go to toasttab.com. That's toasttab.com. And I got to tell you, you're going to love it. Mention Shatsy, and I think they're going to give you some crazy discount.